going on, everybody? Welcome in to the North End Podcast, episode 221. My name is Zach Graham, your host here in the North End, joined, as always, by my good buddy. He's on record as my best friend. His name is Ian Michaud, and we call him... sitting here on a Sunday. We have begun the May Marathon, and just in about as unimpressive a fashion as we possibly could have, 3-0 home defeat at the hands of Minnesota United on Saturday night. Again, I'll ask you, as I always do, how are you feeling, my friend?
Absolutely fucking miserable. I think that's the appropriate response here. You see my face if you're watching us on YouTube. Yep, that's been lumped into this situation as well. Zach's dog knocked me over last night. Not that it was too challenging to knock me over at that point of the night. Went face first right into the ground. So I kind of feel like, I played for Austin last night.
Yeah,
dude, we might suck, man. This is a big problem. I have gone from feeling anxiously excited about the opportunity of these games in May, as we discussed previewing this month many, many times, to sweet Jesus, I don't think we're going to be in the top 7 when this month ends. So that's where I'm at right now. This is really, really, really bad. And we're losing folks. We're losing recipes. All right. Like it's fucking happening. Like we keep saying, like, this team, you have a chance to win these people back. Now the honeymoon phase is over. You're not getting anyone back now. Like, you have to go do something on Wednesday spectacular to make anyone believe that this team has a fighting chance going forward the rest of this season. So let's get into it. Let's do this bitch fest and get the nice stuff out of the way.
Yeah, man. And even if you take care of business on Wednesday, it's what you're fucking supposed to do.
Bare minimum.
Against a lower division side.
Bare minimum. You better beat their ass.
We will, of course, recap last night's loss. We will preview Wednesday's Open Cup match against El Paso Locomotive. We've got some last business day as well before we get into the rest of episode 221 here in the North End. Just want to remind you all listening or watching on the YouTube channel that you can support the show financially by downloading the audio versions of our episodes wherever you get your podcasts. You can toggle on auto downloads and support the show going forward, and you don't have to think about it again. You can go the extra mile, rate and review the show wherever you get your podcasts. And if you are watching on the YouTube channel, subscribing to the channel does help us grow the show, and you can hit the notification bell to know when a live stream pops up or a new episode goes live. And of course, on this episode, hit the thumbs up, like the video, help us battle the YouTube algorithm overlords, and maybe score a fucking goal, atone for your sins, wash yourselves clean in the waters of the North End. So just kind of jumping right into this one, I guess actually before we get into the horror that was that 90 minutes at Q2, everything around yesterday, as it is most of the times that we get a home match or any match at all, everything else was great. Like, once again, happy birthday to Brian. Happy birthday to Ali, too. Both of those guys were having a great time. Really set the tone, having a fun evening leading up to the match. Good to see a lot of our buddies over there, Ag and TJ. And shout out to Derek for the mezcal. It was delicious. Shout out to Landon. Got to see Landon. Fantastic time coming in there. So... And coming in, we knew, right, on Thursday, we had gotten the injury update from Coach, right? So if anybody had missed that, we got the timeline for Danny hip flexor injury. And it's going to be 4 to 8 weeks. So that is a pretty wide berth there in terms of when he could potentially return. I don't know, man. I'm just erring on the side of, I know he's not playing this month, so he's going to miss a lot of important matches. And I think I'm leaning towards the 8 weeks. Like, we might as well just see him at the end of June, because there's not a lot going on in June either. And we're going to need number 8 down the second half of the season if we want to even stay in the top 7.
Yeah, good. Look, hip flexors are tough, man. So I am also going to be erring on the side of caution here. 8 weeks is going to be a long time to be without Pep. And we need all hands on deck. We need all the help that we can get. And I know you were encouraging the other player on this injury report to come back sooner last night post game when we saw him. But good God, we need some fucking help really bad.
Yeah. Well, and Dessler knows how I feel about that now. Mikael Dessler, we did get a kind of a reframed update on his timeline. Fully expected him to be available off the bench coming into this game. Not only did he sit out this weekend, he hasn't even returned to full training. So that will happen this week. And Coach Estevez said mid-May to the end of May is when he could be eligible for us. So hinting at last night that as we were commiserating with some of our buddies that we are us the TV guys, we saw Daniel out there, Tucker out there. Mikael walks by trying to sneak past, get into his car because, there's not a ton of people left at that point. A lot of people, probably rightfully so, left at stoppage time. And I just, like you said, I told Mikael, we need some help, brother. Somebody's got to do something here, especially on the offensive side of the ball. I know nobody wants to get out there and play more than Mikael. And hopefully it's mid-May and not the end of May. Because look, now I will amend my statement. The defense does need help now.
Yep.
So we need Dessler back yesterday.
The hits keep on coming, and these are not great hits right now. And if he's not ready to go, I mean, like the timeline says there, even if he gets back mid-May, he's not going to be full form till like the third week of May, if that's the case. And if he's out for the entire month, then God save us. Someone save us. I'll bring up new deities, whatever we got to find, demigods, anything, good Lord, we need some help really bad, but hopefully, fingers crossed that both of those guys don't have any setbacks and Danny's timeline is a bit closer to the 4 weeks than it is the 8 weeks.
Well, this lineup comes out, dude, and it was as expected. It was, I think, about as strong of a lineup as you could put out there right now with the pieces you have available to you. 4-3-3, look, like we got Ozuni out there on the left, Book on the right. Like, this is everything that we expected, everything that we wanted. The bench, again, you've kind of regained some of that depth as guys are getting healthy, as you brought in a guy like Robert Taylor, right? So it was Stuver, Gallagher, Svatak, Heinzek, and Biru on the back line, midfield of Ilie with the armband, Wolf and Sabovic, and then the DP3 up front. And that bench, Rubio, Taylor, Fodre, Obrian, Kolmanich, Cleveland, Cascante, Thomas, and Dubrsarski. Again, I was feeling so damn good coming into this match, and I had worked my way up through the tailgate over there from my 1-1 draw prediction on Wednesday evening to, I think, saying 3-1 by the time we got into the stadium. And I wasn't too far off. It was just the wrong fucking team.
Yeah, it was definitely the wrong team. I was fine with the lineup, obviously. What we expected, what we anticipated, I think the most logical 11 that you could put out there with who's available right now. And they didn't execute. They did not do their jobs. That's as simple as that. I know we got to get into some Nico comments from after the game and stuff like that, but we didn't do our jobs again. And there's nobody that is doing their job well right now from these last two matchups that we've had. I mean, you can't point to Owen because nothing's happening. We're not scoring. He's not getting any assists. We're not having these goal-creating chances that we saw from him earlier in the season because we can't score. And the confidence is so low. It is. The morale seems bad. We have this first mistake by Brad, and you see some of the guys rally around one another. I'm sick of it. We have to score goals. You have to. I don't know what else to say anymore. This could be the shortest episode ever because it's just going to be, you got to score goals, man. And I don't want to hear anybody talk about goals no more. Just go score them. Ozuni.
Yeah.
You said you wanted to break records. Well, brother, we're on pace to break the record for the least amount of goals scored for an entire fucking team in MLS history. So you could be on the wrong side of history unless we start scoring some fucking goals.
Yep. And look, Minnesota missing who I think is their best player in Kelvin Yeboah. They have a lot of other very talented guys like Pereira last night. Obviously, Tanny was killing us. But they come in with no Yeboah. They put Rosales on the bench after his little dust-up incident last week that, no suspension or anything came from it. And then they've got their their recent Miami acquisition, Julian Gressel, on the bench as well. So just let's get into this one, man. I feel sorry for those who could not attend the match and had to watch it on Apple TV because Keith Costigan is there again. And again, He's a fine announcer, just like you would think. We've had him for no less than 4 of these 11 matches so far, and nobody can tell this guy how to say Guilherme Biru's name correctly. That's just what I noticed. I didn't even notice it was Costigan until he says beer in the second minute. I was like, oh God.
Same with me. It's like he's walking around with a booger hanging out of his nose and nobody wants to tell him. So I don't know if he has any true friends in that industry, because someone needs to tell him that the man's name is not beer.
Yeah. 6th minute, Austin. And this is true for like the first 20 minutes, I think, but we've had like 85 or 90% of the ball so far. And just doing nothing with it. But I do understand like settling in, and if Minnesota is going to play the style of game that they want to play, sitting back and countering, being very direct. You see them throughout the match. They're doing the long throws as much as they get. Like they barely get across midfield, get a throw in, and Mike Boxall's coming up there to huck that thing into the area. I think they score the first goal, I think, off of a set piece that St. Clair comes up to near midfield to take and put into the mixer. So I felt like we just got the game was dictated to us by Minnesota, saying, here, try to break us down. Like, you guys cannot score. And Eric Ramsey was correct in that approach. In this moment, though, Stuver hits Ilie. He was not nearly as contained as he was against Houston, right? Much less attention being paid to Ilie. So he's able to turn and take a look upfield in this moment. Fires a ball over the top towards Zuni, who can't get a hold of it, but neither can the Minnesota defenders, and that ball comes down, deflects to Sabovic, who plays Buka through in that right channel. Not only does Buka shoot this like 15 yards wide into the supporter section, but he's got Mirtu wide open on the backside for a fucking dunk, and Mirtu returns the favor, so to speak, later on. But like, again, just like the decision making, if you are going to shoot it, that's got to be on frame. And again, I just think we are, like you said, nobody's operating with a high level of confidence right now. And it is showing just, it is so clearly evident watching it live and watching it on the replay.
Here we are again. We find ourselves in a situation where we have a chance to score a goal with the players that we paid to score goals, and you end up with quite literally nothing from this. This kick, I can't even call it a shot.
You're bailing out St. Clair time after time.
Disgusting. I turned around and looked at you and I was just like, what can anyone say about this right now that's positive? Like, it's pathetic. Like, these are players that he is so much better than. He has played against higher levels of competition than this. And to shoot this shot 30 rows to the left of the goal, or to the whatever.
To the right if you're looking at it.
It wasn't on the frame. It wasn't on frame. It's just, it is, I can't wrap my head around it. I don't understand. And then the fact that when you go back and you look at it and Mirtu's wide open, you're like, okay, well, here's another situation where Buka has once again made the wrong decision in a moment where we need him to make the right decision. And those two have zero chemistry together.
Yeah.
Right? Nothing right now. I don't even know if they like each other. I mean, like we talked about the Azuni comments from earlier in the year, and you're talking down on somebody like that, like not down per se, but it was, it could be perceived as a bit of a slight. I see things better than you.
Yeah.
Do you?
Yeah. Well, and whether it's something lost in translation or not there, like you said, it still can be interpreted as a little bit of dissension there. Even though, again, I don't think that's what it was. But shit, man, again, it's hard to interpret things in a positive manner when nothing is going right. And it's been a month of that at this point.
Yep. And it can be interpreted that way because nobody is playing well, right? So like there's no confidence anyway. So it just kind of add fuel to the fire. And also I need to stop raising your hands, throwing them in the air when you don't get the ball, when that's what you do with it. Like you cannot have it both ways, man. Like if we're getting you wide open shots in space and you're shooting them into Maynor, you gotta be better.
Yeah, man. And we saw Profe after the match too. And he, I asked him, tell me a positive. He said he thought Ilie played well. I said I didn't think so. Or again, like he just didn't jump off the field to me. He didn't jump off to me on the rewatch. I will say, if I have to find a positive, I do think Owen Wolff played quite well. And he does have some individual moments of brilliance here. In the 12th minute, he takes on 4 defenders and just like very impressive to keep the ball in play after going through that scrum, and plays it on to Mirtu down that right sideline. He gets to the inline, and Azuni plays a ball right to the open space near the spot, but there's nobody home crashing this, like, the open area. So, like, I don't know what Mirtu's supposed to do there. If you try to squeeze it into an area where the ball's probably just going to get easily cleared away to where our guys actually were, or put it to the spot where I think you're supposed to be crashing the fucking middle of the box that is wide open in this moment. Maybe it was just everything was kind of disjointed with the timing there on that break, but nobody home. And again, one of the many frustrating outcomes in the Minnesota penalty area last night.
I just don't know what we did well when we had the ball. Like,
sure,
if it's just passing drills, then okay, we're pretty good at that. We can pass it back and forth all day. But again, disjointed is perfect. It is just not working right now. Yeah. And this is a prime example because there is a ton of real estate here to go ahead and get yourself a decent opportunity, and nobody's in the zone.
2 minutes later, Vasquez takes the ball right off Will Trapp and slips Buka in behind the back line. A little heavy on this ball here because St. Clair's able to basically meet Buka when he gets to the ball, and he gets down and deflects it. 8 minutes later, 22nd minute, this is pretty much the first time Minnesota has any sort of sustained possession, like especially in the Austin half of the field. And a little give and go down the left side between Markinick and Pereira. And Pereira takes a shot that is like partially deflected by Ilie and just rolls harmlessly to Stuver. And I think Oluwaseyi making a run right past Stuver's face in this moment is what causes Stuver to take his eye off the ball, and it rolls right through his legs and into the net. And this is being scored as an own goal by Ilie, and I very much disagree. I think it's a goal by Pereira and a goalkeeper error by Stuver. But either way, you're down 1-0. And I know you felt more strongly that the game was over than I did, but at the end of the day, again, this team, when this team gets scored on, the game has been through 11. The game has been over.
That's exactly how I felt. And like, that is how dangerously bad this team is becoming, where you have a mistake like this and you're done. You're cooked 30 minutes into the game. And this is a huge error by Brad. B, I'm sorry. I know you told me last night not to blame Brad for this because you also had a goalie error in your game that you played, but this is a mistake, man. And
it's
like
100% on Brad, and he took ownership of it right away.
And the man's got the best credit score on the team for me. So like, I'm not gonna go in on Brad and shit on him and say this is the reason we lost, but we lost because we can't score, and they got a fluke goal here. It happened for them. It's a huge mistake. He knows it. I know it. We all know it. And I'm pretty sure I just looked at you and go, well, that's it. And then I just started. I was like, all right, well, I'm going to drink a lot of beer today. And they had the guys walking up and down the aisle now. So I was like, oh, you gotta get up.
I did see that. 25th minute here. Now the Loons have the juice. And when they're getting the chances to counter, they're coming at us with full force. Like on this one, they force Stuver to make a save on an Oluwaseyi attempt. That goes out for a corner. Then Austin clears that initial corner out, but Minnesota stays in possession. They end up getting another cross in to the box that finds Oluwaseyi alone on Stuver this time. And like, credit to Brad, he comes back and makes some big saves, including this one. It was a great save off this header. That should have been a second one.
Absolutely. It was a fantastic save. So yes, he responded, he rebounded. And I know that we're going to talk about it with Nico's comments too, but yes, that's what you're supposed to do. But these saves were huge. And when Oluwaseyi started getting going here and they're getting headers into him and he's getting the ball served to him up on a plate, I was just like, oh my God, we might get run here, And like, I want to jump back a little bit to some of their tactics. Yeah. You don't need a fucking crystal ball to know that to get an opportunity like they had, Minnesota was pushing those guys up, having Dane St. Clair. That is a creative way to try to get some opportunities for your team. Why can't we do some stuff like that?
Yeah.
Like this is is it the solution? No. Is
Right.
that like going to fix all of our problems? No. But it is at least a avenue to try something, to get something going here. And now when you're down 1-0, it's like you have to pull out more stops because, and I know we've been hanging our hat on the defensive side of the ball with this team. That team can guard right now. That team over there can play some defense. After we have our disaster in Vancouver, your defensive metrics were cooked, and now you've given up 5 goals these last 2 games. And everyone's, outside of Dessler, we have the center back pairing we want. We have Johnny and Biru, who we feel great about on either side.
Stuver kind of obliges you here, though, like, because they do end up ushering it out for a goal kick after that second Brad save. And so on the goal kick, Austin sets up like they're going to play it out of the back. And Minnesota actually does show a little bit of a high press look here. So Brad just blasts it forward and gets it on the bounce. And with this second ball, Austin gets in possession with a 3-on-3 with the 3 DPs. So, like, again, this is like a dream scenario. We've been looking for this all year. When it happens, we stand up and they don't score and we fucking sit down and we feel sorry about our situation here. But, like, in this moment, Vasquez plays Azuni. It's a bit behind Azuni on this pass, so Mirtu has to kind of slow up. But he still has a very strong look at goal. And at least he doesn't blast it into the supporter section, but he shoots it right at Dane St. Clair. And like I mentioned earlier, this is where he has an opportunity to just slide it right on to Bukhari for what should probably be a tap-in. But with the way these guys have been not finishing, it's, of course, it's not a slam dunk, but, like, again, it's just not the right decision. And the decision you do make, you don't execute it well. Whether it's Buka shooting it 10 yards wide or Azuni just, like, softly giving it to St. Clair in this moment. Like, again, we're going to break a record here. And it's going to be on the opposite end of what you thought you were going to do coming into this league. So,
I mean, I turned right on to you. I said, shoot it. Yeah. Have a shot.
Yeah.
This is, and okay. It wasn't as bad as shooting it 30 rows into the stands. Sure.
Like, same result.
But we paid $30 million for these 3 guys. We've been saying it all year. We, in one-on-one situations with all 3 of those players, we have to feel confident about it. I don't feel confident about it anymore.
Yep.
You're going to have to show me now. Like, I've been in your corner. I've had your back the whole time. And I'm not going to be done supporting this team. I'm not fucking crazy. But, like, God, this 3-on-3 with $30 million in this back line versus this Minnesota back line, and you cannot give us something better?
Yeah. No, I think it's not just me with you. I think everybody's with you. Like, it's just the fact that it has not been better. As a whole, but especially of late. So 29th minute here, Austin wins a free kick, like just outside the top of the Loons penalty area. Savovich took the foul, went down there. Mirtu and Buka stand over it. And after some lengthy discussion here, Azuni takes it, puts it into the south end. Again, you just, like, if you're going to come step up to take that, like, I think he can do better there. That was far from the worst attempt on the night, but it's a snowball effect, right? And again, like, the longer we go without scoring at all, much less, like, fucking multiple goals in a game. We were talking with Derek at the tailgate and saying it's insane that this club has scored 5 goals twice in its history, and it came 8 days apart. Back to fucking back, we did that. That's crazy.
It was a magical time for sure. This is a horrible kick. It's awful.
I've seen worse, but again, it's just like nothing feels good right now, and that's not good enough.
Is that our standard though? Is that our standard? I've seen worse. Yeah, I saw worse earlier when Buka shot it fucking to space. But I can't muster up the energy to be just furious at every fucking miss that they had last night because nothing's going in. Well, I can.
Well, you get more rage here. 35th minute. Savovich takes down Trapp near midfield, but still in the Minnesota half. This is what I was getting at earlier. St. Clair comes up, and they bomb in a set piece off the free kick. And, like, on the initial ball, Stuver comes and punches it away. Doesn't get a great touch on it. Minnesota keeps possession. I think it was Romero that whipped this ball in here. Just right into the mixer, where Markinek rises up, like, right over Svatok.
Yep.
I don't know if this is if he should be in better position there, or was somebody else, or was just a kind of a good ball that found the right area for Markinick here. But like, he heads it right back towards that near post, and Stuver kind of caught off balance, no chance there. And as they celebrate, Ilie brings the team in, but great. Like,
Yeah,
it's
cool.
Look, I appreciate having the guy who's visibly taking on the leadership role. Like, we saw that from week 1 with Ilie, right? And we saw it in the preseason, et cetera, et cetera. It's performative at this point.
Yeah.
And it's not that it's on Ilie. It could be fucking anybody doing that. Like, you guys can bring, okay. But where was the response? And I'm gonna disagree with Coach later, talking about the response. The guys certainly did not quit, but like, a response is putting a fucking number on the board, at least one.
That is the response. That's the only response that fucking matters. And like, when I saw those dudes huddle up, I mean, obviously I'm in a terrible mood at this point, just having get scored on again. I just thought it was corny, because whatever you're saying, it ain't working. We can talk to a blue in the face. And we're not scoring goals. And like you said, no response comes in the form of the only way you can respond in this game, by scoring a fucking goal.
Oh, and then it almost gets worse before half. 42nd minute. Stuver takes a throw that he just tosses right to Pereira, who turns around, like, lofts a ball into the area towards Tanny, and his header goes wide, luckily. But this could have been 3-0 at the half, and I don't think you would have felt like it wasn't deserved, right? Like, mistake after mistake. And for, again, like, this mistake by Stuver gets kind of papered over because of the first one, and then because this one doesn't go in. But it's a disaster half by Brad. And again, like, just like you said earlier, he's got the best credit score on the team, and it's going to take a lot for that to change. I mean, goddamn, man, if Brad's having a game like this, we just have no fucking chance.
Exactly what I was going to say. The man's been standing on his fucking head for 3 years with this team, saving us in moments where we've had complete disasters. And we understand that he's human and capable of halves like this. Of course he is. He's not one of the best goalkeepers in the world, who don't have games like this. And even sometimes they do. But like, he's been standing on his head for so long for this team that, of course, when he has a down game, we're cooked. We're done. And this game is way over. I wouldn't have blamed anyone for leaving. I mean, at halftime, I had a hard time coming back down.
Yeah. We were not having fun. But coming out of the half, 10 minutes in, Austin spends the first 10 minutes of the half. There's no changes for either side. First 10 minutes, we got Minnesota really pinned back, but not able to generate any clear chances. So somewhat similar to the first 10 minutes of the match. But in the 55th, we do have Osman getting played through towards the end line on that right by Gallagher. And Buka plays the ball towards the back post, like, kind of floats over everybody, falls to Azuni. And it's a tough angle, but he volleys it back into 124, like on the other side of the goal. And again, you're just like, I know it's tough, but we paid $12 million for you to do better with the tough chances. And so again, like a month ago, I'm more forgiving from my fan perspective than I am now.
I mean, that's what we were told he was capable of doing. That's what we saw he was capable of doing. The man has a track record.
La Liga.
In fucking La Liga, which is just like, I mean, there's so much that is going on mentally with this team, it looks like. Where, again, and I've said it for the past, I don't even know how many games, man, where we come out, we have a great chance, and we scuff it, and the little bit of juice that we have in the stadium, where it's like, okay, we're here again, we're Austin FC fans, we're some of the best fans in the league, we're showing up, we're bringing the noise, we're bringing the juice, and then it's gone, because everyone's so frustrated, and rightfully so. And like, like you said, as Profe, like, trying to find any sort of positive from this game, from what has happened. And now, after the 5-1 game, we had encouraging words from BHI, encouraging, inspiring words that we're going to bounce back. Okay. When? You better start bouncing back, because oh my God, man.
No, it's just fucking flat. It's flat right now.
Of course. I can't blame anyone for not wanting to show up. I can't blame anyone. Like, what what have we had to cheer for at Q2? It's like a handful of things that are like, yeah, good time.
Bro, we had 8 minutes. We were up by 2. 8 minutes.
Yep, that was the high point thus far.
I'll just come back and blame. We're putting all of this on TJ. All of it. He said Fiverr. It's been downhill since then, dude. You get a flurry of changes here. Starting right around the 60th minute, you get Rubio and Robert Taylor makes his Austin FC debut, and we take off $20 million.
Yep.
In Izuni and Buka, and those guys didn't deserve to stay on, but nope. It's just it's a statement of where this team is at. That these guys are being pulled off in the 60th minute, and nobody's like, wait, why? Yeah. Everybody's like, yeah, makes sense.
Yeah. Let's get Hot Air Obrian in. This was the biggest statement made by that team yesterday, was subbing both of these dudes out at the same time at that moment in the game. And I looked at you and I was like, good.
Yeah.
Get off the field.
Yeah.
Please. And I thought some of the subs came in and gave us a little life. I thought that some of the subs played. I thought Rubio was impactful. CJ, when he comes in, was impactful. Hot Air did some good things as well.
Yeah.
And it's like, is that the wake-up call you're going to need? You two?
Well, that's the depth we were excited about coming into this year and at points throughout this year, specifically through the first 6 or 7 weeks. But like I'm not excited about the depth if the starters can't do shit.
Yeah.
Like
it was going to be depth that we could rotate because we were winning games and up points, and we get guys.
We can go through May and feel great.
Here comes Hot Air. Ooh, no, it's good Lord, you guys stink so much. We gotta sub you out of this game 60 minutes in.
3 minutes later, you get Gressel's Minnesota debut, and Rosales comes on, which again is like not great. They can pull off Pereira and Markinick, and the 2 goal scorers, and bring on Julian Gressel and Joseph Rosales. 69th minute, you get the only yellow card of the match to Heinzike for pulling back Bongi after he got a step on him. No trouble with that yellow. I thought Armando Villarreal was. I don't have to think. It's one yellow card in a match that had 25 fouls. I thought there were a couple other instances where he maybe could have gone to his pocket for both teams. Mm-hmm. The official did not change the outcome of this match last night. 72nd minute, you did get CJ and Hot Air in here for Sabovic and John Gallagher. And then in the 74th, Diego wins a free kick near like the top right corner of that Minnesota penalty area in the north end. Owen takes it, fires it into the scrum. That ball gets cleared out, 2-3 yards outside the 18. Bobby Taylor's right there. He cracks it back on frame. And it gets blocked by a Loons defender. And, man, I can tell you from our angle, if that defender doesn't get his foot to it, that ball's going in. Yeah. Again, I think we kind of sit here and expect, maybe subconsciously or whatnot, but expect Robert Taylor to come in and do something magical. And that's not fair to the guy. No. I thought he came in, he looked solid. I'm excited to have him in the rotation on our team.
I agree. The expectation that he has to somehow change this team for us now is not fair to him because we need
the
help.
Guy who's on a 150K cap hit's got to come in here and reverse course for us.
And at this point, we kept looking to we need someone to distribute to get the ball to these guys up front. And it's like, we're getting you the ball. We're finding the ball. We're finding you, outside of the Izuni game, we had 10 touches the other night, but you're getting the ball. We're putting the ball in the spots where you guys should be able to do something with it. And we are getting nothing. We're not even getting rebound chances off of making a keeper like Dane St. Clair make a nice save. That's not even happening.
I thought this could have been where a card could have come out in the 75th. Diego's nose gets bloodied by Rosales. It wasn't a hard foul, but clearly some contact to the face there. So I've seen, cards being shown for a little bit less. 77th minute, Austin kind of probing the compact shape that the Loons have fallen into throughout the second half. And in this instance, Biru whips it left to right to BHI. He puts it out to Rubio on the right side, and Rubio fires an across that finds the head of Biru, who had streaked in, put his arm up. I'm open, brother. And he puts it into the back of the net. The flag goes up, and he was just got his shoulder offside there. No argument from him, but did fool almost all of us in the stadium
Mhm.
whoever switches on the green lights, the smoke in the south end.
I mean, at this
I
point, we
really
have
thought,
to
and
celebrate taking
yeah,
back
right.
goals. Throw confetti next time. Fuck it.
I had it in my hand.
Yeah. Uh,
um,
and I mean, with Guilherme, man, like, this is a guy who wants to score. Like,
yeah,
he wants those moments.
yeah.
Let him take free kicks.
Yeah, and also what happened, sorry to interrupt, what happened to Biru all preseason? We see him inverting, coming in centrally on that left side and
Mhm.
isolating our winger on the left. Like, I don't know, like I think Azuni could do well with a little bit of that space out there, but we haven't seen Guilherme be a part of the offense as much over the last month, especially not doing those same movements that we saw in early February, first couple games. Like, I don't
Mhm.
know why we've really gone away from that.
I
Sorry, to your point, that's just what I think about when I see Biru take one play, be like, I'm moving this ball to the right side, and then I'm taking my ass into the box, and I'm going to
Yep.
score.
Yeah.
Like, how can Guilherme do that? None of the DPs can.
I do. I don't know. It, like I said, there's mental stuff going on with those three guys for sure. And like, this is a great play. And like, look, and like, again, like the contrast from these two teams yesterday. Obviously, we had the ball forever, and
Yeah.
the directness of what we do is so indirect. It is
Yeah.
so winding and weaving. As soon as they got the ball, pass, get out into space, pass to the wing, somebody make a run. Here it comes. Why have we not drilled that? Like, what is that? Is because at this point, why we have to score? We have to be pushing up. We have to be trying to do something.
Yeah. Well, hey, they're trying. It's just not coming off right now. And Biru does get taken off for Kolmanich immediately after that play. And then you get Dugan in for Robin Lod 2 minutes later, 84th minute. And Austin does have a flurry of chances. These guys did
Mhm.
not quit down the stretch. 84th minute. Austin catches the Loons a bit high up the pitch, and all of a sudden we've got a 4-on-4 break. Obrion's leading the way. He's got BV to his right, Robert Taylor to his left, and CJ trailing him in that left channel. He slides it out to Vasquez, who fizzes one across the face of net just inches away from a sliding Robert Taylor.
Mhm.
That was a good ball. That was a good run by Taylor. And if you look at the replay, I think if that goes in, I think they're calling it back for offside. But again, it was a good play. These are the positives that we have from this match, is like almost generating chances that probably wouldn't have counted. But it's promising to see Taylor get in the right spots with teammates he's known for about 4 days.
Mhm. Mhm. Encouraging.
Yeah. Yeah. And a minute later, Austin again in possession. Obrion does really well here to split two defenders as he drives towards the penalty area from that right sideline. Dekes around a third defender and slips BV in towards the end line. And then Brandon drops his guy and puts the ball on his left foot, blasts a shot to that back post, and it gets cleared off the line by Gressel, who is making, these Miami guys, guess what? They are talented, even though they've been on the bench for that team. But like when Gressel clears it, it bounces right to the head of Hader, and he heads it just over the bar. Then there was a check, what I think was for a handball when Brandon put that defender on his butt. Nothing doing there. And it didn't really look like it was, from our angle in the north end there. But again, they didn't quit. And that is where I can agree with some of the things that Coach said last night. Certainly do not agree with his full characterization of the match, but those guys that were out there did battle.
I mean, look, man, the subs came in, they gave us life, they played hard. From
Yep.
CJ to Obi to Diego, they came in and they played hard, and they did create a couple chances here for us, and again, would have been great if we could have had our two $20 million wingers in the mix here, but because you played so terribly, we had to get you off the field.
Yeah. And in the 89th minute, Sangbin Jong comes on for Hlongwane. And just for good measure, first minute of stoppage time of the 5 given, Heinzike has the ball taken off of him at the back by Oluwasi, and Tanny shot is saved by Stuver. Jong is right there with a follow-up. Kolmanich gets in front and blocks that one, but then that deflected shot falls right to Pereira, who blasts a shot of his own, binks off the far post and in. That thing was a screamer. It's a very nice shot. And I did see some dingus who looks like on the broadcast is wearing an Austin FC hat and then celebrating this third goal by holding up a Loons scarf. So I don't know what's going on with that guy, but take the Austin hat off. And,
he's playing both sides, so he always comes out on top.
Maybe, fuck, man, it looks more fun. That guy had a great night. Either way.
Yeah, I was actually going to bring up some of the Minnesota fans who were in our section, and I was primed and ready to go to give you guys some juice, but thanks for not dumping it on me.
Yeah.
After what you did, because holy shit,
those
man.
People were so goddamn nice.
Yeah. They were really nice. They were really nice folks. Yeah, this shot is great. That's a great shot. It's a shot you expect from a DP player that you pay a bunch of money for.
Yeah, it's a good point. 66% possession for Austin at the end of this one, just how Minnesota drew it up. Austin, 14 shots to 11 as we open up the stats here on the YouTube and get a couple zooms, but 7 on target to 4 in favor of the Loons. 2 big chances for Austin on FOTMob's model. Both of them missed. And then the XG totals, this is where Coach, I think, maybe gets himself in a little hot water, at least with me. 1.24 XG for Austin on FOTMob's model. Oh, we've got a recalc here here on Sunday afternoon. So 1.13 XG for Austin on FOTMob's model to 0.51 for Minnesota in the 3-0 win for the Loons. Expected goals on target, as it frequently does, tells a better story. 0.34 expected goals on target for Austin to 0.91 for Minnesota. And so let's just real quick, let's talk about Coach's comments here. And this was, I believe, the first question of the presser. Eric Goodman of the Chronicle starts it off, and Coach says, I'm very proud of the team today because we responded. We didn't lose our minds. We created chances every single time. Before with it 0-0, with it 1-0, we had a couple situations to score. And then with the 2-0, we have a couple situations to score in the second half. We completely dominated the game, and we had the chances to score. And then a credit to Goodman there for pressing Coach on being like, wait, you're proud of the guys? And then he kind of clarified and said, I didn't say I'm proud of the performance, but I'm proud of the players because they worked so hard during the week to prepare for this game. And look, man, he goes on to talk about how we had more XG than Minnesota. And like, again, XG is a piece of the puzzle, but you can accumulate a lot of XG, as our opponents did last year when Josh Wolf's staff was having us under fire, under duress the whole game, in a compact, stout defensive shape where we took on a lot of shots, we took on a lot of water XG-wise, but none of the chances were great. We had a couple chances that we should have put away. And again, here on the recalc, now we've got 3 big chances on FOTMob's model that we missed. But like, okay, Coach, if you're going to bring out the XG totals, let's do expected goals on target too, because that does not jive with how you are painting this picture. And I understand the leadership aspect of it from a coaching perspective, and not, probably not coming with the same type of vitriol and criticism that you may have for those guys behind the closed doors in the locker room. But you can also keep it a little bit more real, I think, than he did here, while still keeping your kind of perception as like a player's coach, right? Not going to throw guys under the bus. I think you can still be a little bit more critical of the guys and their performance. I think you can do that in a way that won't take away from their confidence, because guess what? They don't have any anyways at this point. So I wouldn't begrudge anybody who listens to that press conference or reads the quotes anywhere that they're published and raises their eyebrow.
Yeah. I mean, we were chatting before we jump on here, and yes, they did not quit. But also, to me, that's the bare minimum. You play for 90 minutes and then you play through stoppage time. That's what you do.
That's the
you're
job.
Out there, you're repping your team. You get to play a sport professionally and make a lot of money doing it. Yes, you need to be playing the entire 90 minutes of a game. Okay. Yeah, dude. Don't talk to me about XG. Talk to me about G's. I want to talk.
Yeah.
That's what I want to talk about after a game. I want to talk about AG, for the love of God. So look at this hideous fucking.
Yeah, I mean, you got the ball the entire night. It
Yep.
is the strongest horseshoe that we've seen there.
Mhm.
You know, a lot of Ilie, a lot of center backs, a lot of fullbacks, and not a lot going forward.
Nope. And
And
this is how
again,
they wanted to play us. This is how
yeah,
they wanted to play
absolutely.
us.
Yeah.
And like, why we didn't come out with a more aggressive mindset might be hindsight at this point in time, but yeah, we can't keep not converting these opportunities, particularly earlier in the game.
Yep.
And it is really, really stinky right now. And you're going to have a hard time keeping your head above water the rest of this month if you can't figure this thing out on the offensive side of the ball, because you're playing them again in Minnesota.
At their place.
Yep.
With Yeboah back, I would think.
Yeboah should be back. You're playing Cincy. And then you got, I don't even want to think about all of it. But, man, it's really bad right now. And I don't have the answers. But we need to win a game. You got kind of fortunate that you have this Open Cup draw coming up on Wednesday here with a team you should, emphasis on should, beat the shit out of. And like you need to, because these guys got to they have to get this thing switched in their heads, because it's evident. It's out there. The stink is permeating through everyone.
Yeah. I mean, I just think in some places, globally for sure, and even in MLS, you're coaching for your job on Wednesday. Now, I don't think that Nico is in danger at all of losing his job this week, this month, or even this season. Like, we'll see at the end if we're in the playoffs or not. But like, it's just, I don't know, man. Like the expectations of this team, the club did not put MLS Cup expectations on this coaching staff or on this roster. But the expectation is playoffs. And like you said, like the way we have played over the last month, this is not an overreaction to this week, to the last 2 weeks. It's the last 4 games, right? The one win you had was 1-0 at fucking home, almost at the death, against the team that does not have a win yet.
A single win.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I mean, this is by far and away the most talented roster that we have ever had in the city of Austin for Austin FC, in my opinion, top to bottom. We talked about the depth now. We have top tier dog kind of players. We've spoken about it. This is the most talented team we've ever had. And to have 7 goals through 11 games is insane. It's insane. I mean, at this point, right? Does Montreal have more goals than us now? Like,
Probably.
are we
They
dead
scored
last?
yesterday, so yeah.
Yep. I mean, we have the least amount of goals in the fucking league.
Which makes sense because
Montreal's got 5, but still, it's like, thanks, Montreal, because otherwise we'd be really upset. It is insanity, and I don't want to be a club that can like, you're going to can a guy this early into his tenure. I don't want to do that. That's not how I want a team to be built. That's not how I want an organization to be run, outside of course, insane context. Something crazy happens. You try to blackmail the U.S. men's national coach. Yeah, we could probably get rid of you then. But I don't want to operate like that. Same. But if you do not beat the shit out of this El Paso team, you're going to lose.
It can't be a 1-0, dude.
By the skin of your teeth versus that team, you have to beat them down. And then we can talk about how, well, that's what you should have done. Of course. Like, you're not going to get extra flowers from me for that. Yeah. If you do it, like, but you have to at this point. You have to.
No, I mean, even after the rewatch, I think last night in a vacuum is on the players for not executing. Like, I don't think that Nico sent them out there with a plan that was going to fail. Like, because they did have some chances. You put some of those away, or if you even just test Dane St. Clair when you should have. And Stuver doesn't make the mistake, right? He's part of the 11 guys on the pitch too. Like, to me, that was more on the players last night. But again, we can't fire this team in the middle of the season or even at the end of the season because they all have contracts. Look, right now, you guys stink.
Yeah.
You guys stink. And it's to the eye test and by the numbers, right? Like, we can talk about XG till we're blue in the fucking face.
Yep.
You got 7 goals on 14.2 XG now. You guys stink.
Yeah, we have the
Finish a shot.
We're the second worst goal differential in the entire Western Conference. We're in sixth place.
And this is not, again, this is not an overreaction to not scoring the last 2 weeks. This is not a regression offensively. This is what you guys are through a third of a season. We're past the point where we can start making conclusions. And that's my conclusion right now is you guys are not good. You're not a good team. They've had trouble scoring since minute 1. You're on pace for look, we got a 0.6 buffer, and apparently Montreal on the other side of this. DC United 2010, 21 goals. We're on pace for 21.6. We're on pace for less goals. I'm pretty sure in the preseason over-under game, brother, we had 30 goals for the DPs alone. You're on pace to score less goals than millions of dollars that we spent on the DP3. Goals as a team, not just for the 3 guys.
Jesus.
And if our identity is defense, then you have no identity because it's 10-2 aggregate over the last month. This isn't an overreaction to 1 or 2 games. It's the direction of the team right now, and you're about to play more of these teams that I consider to be the best in the fucking league.
Yeah.
So your get-right spot is Wednesday. You have to beat the absolute dog shit out of El Paso Locomotive.
Yeah.
Because they suck. You're better than them at every position, and probably too deep better than them at every position. This has to be a ass whooping.
Yep, because this is who you are right now. This is who you are. We've asked the questions. They've asked the questions. We've heard all sorts of different answers from different players about what needs to happen. This is who you are right now, and you got smacked by this Minnesota team. I don't see how you could ever say you dominated every facet of the game when you lose 3-0. I'm not sure how you can say
possession. Like, come on, man.
We're not doing anything with it. And you got the stinker game from Brad. And it happened. And this is who you are right now. We cannot score goals. It is mind-boggling. And we could fall back on that. We're still in second place, baby. We're still top 3. You're not anymore. And you're probably in some real hot water once you go up to Cincinnati. And like you said, you better embarrass El Paso because you've embarrassed yourself over this last month after what Vancouver did to us and started that streak out. So it's not acceptable right now. It's not.
When we all like when I'm able to put Austin's in second, Houston's in 14th, and you could put fuck Houston on the standings. Now where we are, 6th to 13th, now it says fuck me. Let's talk about El Paso on Wednesday. We're back in the Open Cup here, which is something that we have been waiting for. I'm excited to get back into this tournament. Open Cup is our country's oldest ongoing national soccer competition. The first tournament was held in 1913. But since MLS came into existence in 1996, only one lower division team, Rochester in 1999, has won the Open Cup. So, of course, in Austin's Open Cup history, not great. The San Antonio match back in 2022, we have one Open Cup win in 2023, which was over New Mexico United at home. Rodney Redis' first goal for the club. And then, of course, taken down by Shaqiri and Chicago Fire in the next round of the 2023 tournament. Then the first team was not in the 2024 edition as Open Cup underwent some changes there. They're kind of spearheaded by MLS, not putting all of our teams in there. And the second team took our place, and they lost to an amateur club. So it has not been a ton of fun for Austin fans in this competition, but that's not going to stop me, from getting excited for us being in this 2025 competition because you are 5 wins away from the first piece of non-Copa Tejas hardware potentially for Austin FC. So how this tournament is set up coming here into the round of 32, all of the MLS sides, the 16 that are competing, are all taking on lower division sides. They are in pods of 4. So as we discussed on previous episodes when this draw happened a couple weeks ago, the other side of our pod is Phoenix Rising from USL and Houston Dynamo. So we will play the winner. If it's Phoenix, we go to Phoenix in a couple weeks. If it's Houston, the orange team comes to us. But we got to take care of El Paso first. You all know how we feel about this, how it should turn out. El Paso E, doing a little bit of a dive on them here this weekend. They were founded in 2018 and began play in the USL Championship the following year in 2019. I've been doing these kind of like a little bit of a Crest deep dive. I'm a train guy, so like I appreciate the Locomotive crest here. The metal bars on that cow catcher logo there, they have 11 of them, so everybody's got to put 11 of something in the crest. But then I learned that the star on the top of the crest there is the Star on the Mountain, which is a lit up star display on the Franklin Mountains there in El Paso. I believe they started lighting it up during the holidays in 1940 and then just have continued through the holidays through other, like I read like some periods of wartime, they will light up the star. And then in the mid 90s, they reached an agreement with the city to just light it up every night. So that's what you see there on the crest is the star on the mountain. And the top of the crest is shaped like the silhouette of the Franklin Mountains where the star is located. So I thought that was a little bit a cool piece of crest lore there for our Texas rivals here to the west. Their biggest rivals are New Mexico United, who they just played last night on Saturday and dubbed them 3-0. So they're feeling good about themselves. And actually FC Juarez in Liga MX. I believe they've had some friendlies back and forth across the border over the first few years that the Locomotive has been in existence. They're one of the many teams in USL that play their home matches at a baseball stadium. They're at Southwest University Park there, sharing the diamond there with the Chihuahuas in the AAA Pacific Coast League. Expansion season 2019, won 13 of their 34 games, finished on 50 points, qualified for the USL playoffs, advanced to the Western Conference Final, where they were defeated by Real Monarchs. They made the Western Conference Final the next year as well in the COVID-shortened season, and then blasted off for 64 points in 2021, but were upset in the first round of the playoffs by Oakland Roots. And the 3 seasons since then, they have missed the playoffs twice, and the one time they got back in 2023, they were bounced once again in the first round. So through the first 12 matches of the 2025 season, El Paso, top half of the table here, sitting in 4th place out of the 12 teams in the Western Conference in the USL Championship. They've got 12 points through their first 8 matches. But they have scored 15 goals, which is tied for the most in the entire league. So, yeah, must be fun to be an El Paso fan right now. They are coached by former Colombian international defender Wilmer Cabrera. And Coach Cabrera, multiple USL and MLS stops on his resume, including the Dynamo, Montreal Impact back before they changed their name, and Chivas USA in 2014. Like I mentioned, contrary to the Verde vibes right now, they're feeling great about themselves after beating their rivals 3-0 last night, behind a hat trick by Wilmer Cabrera Jr., coach's kid, who goes by Andy, doubled his goal total. He's now got 6 goals for them on the year. He was originally a Chicago Fire super draft pick, 3rd round in 2023, after playing 4 years at Butler. So Cabrera Jr. Wears number 13, but I think their number 10, Armando Moreno, probably the most complete player they have. That's the guy I think we need to be threatened by the most, at least through the 2025 season. Beto Avila is a familiar name to the podcast. He wears 14 for the Locomotive. We've talked about him before after he played for Austin Bold in 2019 through 2021, scoring 4 goals for the Bold, and has spent time with the Dynamo and Dynados since Austin has come into the league. And then we talked about him again with SKC2 last season. So Avila there, number 14, playing quite well himself. And then one name that also struck me, E, because we talked about him in last business day multiple times, Frank DeRoma is there in El Paso wearing number 8. He was with Tacoma Defiance the last 2 seasons after leaving college early to go play for the Las Vegas Lights from 2021 to 2022. So there's a couple players to watch there headed into Wednesday night's match. Again, this is a team feeling good about themselves. They have absolutely nothing to lose. And I imagine they come out here playing a lot looser than Austin. I expect us to come out and look tight because that's what we've done all year. And now the pressure is on for a team that you have zero excuse not to beat by multiple goals.
I am anticipating us coming out tight. And that puts even more emphasis on breaking that seal and getting a goal early and kind of getting a little bit of that pressure on your back. But I'm not going to feel good about it until you're up 2-0.
Yeah. Well, even then I'm going to want fucking more, dude.
I mean, yeah. But again, this team is one poor play, one fluky goal away from always just being out of it. Yeah. So, like, you're going to have to get some insurance goals here. And as I talked about, just for the psyche, as you talked about and went in on as well, you got to beat the crap out of this team. You have to. Yeah. It just has to happen, especially since you took your 2 DP wingers out of this last game with 30 minutes to go. So they better be ready to play. They better be ready to go. And of course, this team is not nearly as good as us. Like you said, we're deep for their position, probably too deep at every single position, better than them. And you better win. You better win the game.
I expect that we will see at least 1 or 2 guys rotated here to start this match. I don't think you have much more wiggle room to do more tinkering than that, just given the importance of this match, I think, for the psyche of this team, because you and I both expect Saturday against Cincinnati to be the toughest match we have faced so far this season. Don't have high hopes at sitting here today on Sunday, looking ahead all the way to next Saturday on the road. But again, man, you got to come out and like get your work done early. Please. And then maybe we can go into Saturday with having only run Azuni for 55 minutes and Book for 60 minutes or whatever it is, right? Because once you get that lead, fine, let's sub. Let's get some guys minutes. But I just don't think you have the leeway to do what we should be doing in this match is starting CJ and bringing up Irvin Torres and this and that. We do not have the rope to do that.
Nope.
We don't. And I will be very, very concerned if we come out there with a lineup of guys that haven't played a ton of competitive minutes together because, brother, we can't fuck around with this anymore. I mean, you could say we're not going to care about the Open Cup. We're going to prioritize the league. That's not what this team, these coaches and these players have said. We're going into it to win. So I expect as full a strength of a lineup as you could possibly put out there because we need a game where we're emptying the bench at the end, where guys are joking around, having fun. And like I don't think you get that against this team if you don't win by at least 2, but I think my number is 3.
I mean, I'm right there with you, man. This should be a game where we're bringing up the kids, the teenagers to go out there and cut their teeth a little bit because we have the support of the rest of the players who are playing well, who are going to be able to integrate those guys into what we want to do at a higher level of soccer than they're currently playing at. CJ should be starting in this game if you did what you did, or if you did what you were supposed to be doing this entire fucking season. But you haven't done it at all on the offensive side of the ball. And we're running out of ways to say that we're a defensive team. I can tell you that much. We're running out of ways to say that we're a stout defensive team because this is I'm all triggered again. Look, I had dreams of this being like our like when Seattle showed up with their teenagers and Traps nuts. I had dreams of us doing that. And like we talked about, hot air time. Okay, let's get hot air.
Get Diego, Dark Magic.
Rubio, Dark Magic start. Yeah, let's have a little bit of a party here. But you do not have and we're talking about credit scores. You don't have the credit right now to do this where you can mess around with this team. And like you said, they're feeling good about themselves. Hell, the coach's son got 6 fucking goals for the team in 8 games. We got 7 goals in 11. So
Nashville scored 7 goals in one game. 10 days ago.
In one game. And I don't think that it's going to be pretty dead in there. You're not going to have the full
No.
throat support. It's a Wednesday game. It's an Open Cup game.
Yeah.
After what just
it's just not a
happened,
sellout.
it is not going to be its usual self in there. And I know that, there's going to be tons of great fans, diehard fans who show up and are going to be there, and the Merger's going to be doing their thing and be fantastic as they always are. But good God, if you give up a goal to this team early and you're down, I bet you could hear a pin drop in there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't disagree. I think honestly we've talked enough about this one at this point, shorter than our normal previews, but this is our cadence for the rest of this month. Sunday recaps and previews, Thursday recaps and previews. So unless you have anything else to add on this match, is Austin FC winning on Wednesday?
Look, man, I might take the Mike approach and just give up on predictions here. I went 1-0 to try to give us some juice to score multiple goals last game. That didn't work. 3-0 just for my psyche. That's what give it to me. All right. I'll get my hopes up again and see what it comes of this. But the facts on paper, we are a better team. We are a vastly superior team. You have to win this game.
Yep. I'm also in the 3-0. I need to see 3 goals here, and maybe you get scored on once. Anything more than that, we're going to be having a real bad time. So 3-0 for both of us. And again, you would imagine if there's betting lines out there for this one, I'd be interested to see how heavy, if they are at all, favorites Austin are. Of course they will be. But yeah, man, it's just, I think what we're going to do too here, E, is let's just go ahead and wrap up the episode now. We will leave last business day. There were some positives from the second team on Friday night out there at Palmer. So here's what I'm anticipating, E. A little wish casting for you. Thursday's episode, we're going to be coming in. We will be satisfied with the first team's performance. Moving on in the Open Cup, we'll talk about that. We'll preview Cincinnati. We're going to get ourselves jacked up to go out there and compete against one of the best teams in the league. And then we will celebrate the success of the second team as well. A couple new additions that were out there for the second team on Friday. So anything else for you overall before we go ahead and shut things down here on episode 221?
No, sir. All good.
All right, everybody. Appreciate you sticking with us here on episode 221. Like I mentioned, we will be back on Thursday recapping the Open Cup match, recapping FCito's game against SKC2, and previewing the Saturday match on the road against FC Cincinnati. Enjoy the beginning of your week, everybody. We'll try to do the same. We'll see you at Q2 on Wednesday for the Open Cup match, and back here on Thursday for another episode of the North End Podcast. Until then, he's E, and I'm Zach. Vamos Austin FC, everybody. Goodbye.